Hi, good day. My name is Albert Kruger and I'm the CEO of Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras. My pronouns are he, him. And we'd like to introduce today CEO Jules Kim from the Scarlet Alliance, pronouns she, her. Welcome to the chat today, Jules.
Thanks, Albert. Thanks for having me here.
Only a pleasure. I think one of the biggest things for all of our community organizations in this current environment is for us to stay connected and also really to understand what trials and tribulations all of our community organizations are going through in these really, really rough times. But what I wanted to start with is really understand how Mardi Gras 2020 went for you. It feels like it's years ago. It's only been 3 months. How was the parade?
Yeah, fantastic. It was really great to be back at the Mardi Gras. Sex workers have been involved in the Mardi Gras from, the beginning. There was a bit of a hiatus. 2019 was our first Mardi Gras back, and that was really fantastic opportunity. And we had a lot of community support, which was great. We are part of the LGBTIQ movement as well. And 2020 was even bigger, and we're hoping 2021 will be bigger again.
Yeah, that's if everything goes well with the current
environment. Let's hope
so. and how has your work been with Scarlet Alliance in these uncertain times? How are you guys coping and supporting your members?
Yeah, look, it has been a really difficult time for our members. And look, COVID has been impacted everyone. But for sex workers, there's been a greater impact in terms of policing and fining of sex workers, as well as, increase in stigma and discrimination. Unfortunately, we have seen in terms of public health responses that it can become a bit of a blaming and targeting situation. And unfortunately, sex workers are always a bit of an easy target for that. And we've also had a situation of a lack of financial support for many sex workers. A number of sex workers have been able to access JobKeeper or JobSeeker, but for a range of reasons, there are a number of sex workers, quite a lot of sex workers who were actually excluded from government financial support. It has been, a really difficult time, obviously with COVID. It has been restrictions on sex workers. It's in terms of an unprecedented loss of income, and particularly for those sex workers that aren't able to have access to financial support, it has put them in a really untenable situation. Fortunately, just even in the last couple of days, we've had states and territories actually announcing return to work dates for sex workers. And this is something that we've been advocating for, because sex workers have been very proactive in implementing COVID-safe work practices. I suppose separate to casual sex, we do have that kind of work health and safety element within a sex work environment. And while risk remains for any workers in going back to work in this current environment, there are strategies for reducing risk. And it's really great to see that, that most states and territories have stepped up with return to work dates for sex workers.
That's fantastic news. It's really good to hear. And I think that's exactly right. It's a responsibility for each and every one of us to, own and manage safe workspaces and implement all the, measures as far as possible. And as you say, it is very apparent that you guys would fall into, a group that would be easily targeted, which, is unfair and undue. Tell us a bit about the campaigns you're having, running at the moment. And is there any ways that Mardi Gras and our community can support Scarlet Alliance in the work that you're currently doing?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess, you know, this is such a rapidly changing space. If we had this conversation a week ago, I'd be saying support our return to work initiative, but
Yeah,
that's been largely successful.
fantastic.
So unfortunately, Victoria's the only state and territory without a return to work date, but obviously there are real reasons for why that is
Yeah.
not currently in train, but it is. It's great. New South Wales just went back to work yesterday.
Oh, fantastic.
And yeah, and Queensland's, you know, happening like really like this week.
Mm,
So it is all very recent. And as you know, it kind of changes so rapidly.
mm,
So at the moment, we still have a fundraiser on chuff.org for those sex workers that don't have financial support and don't have a return to work date.
mhm,
So it is kind of, you know, still being able to support those workers who aren't able to go back to work and
mm,
don't have other means of government financial support. The other really important thing is it's really highlighted the need for you know, decriminalisation around Australia. If sex work was decriminalised, for you know, fully decriminalised, then it would be the case that sex workers would have had access to financial support like other workers. But unfortunately, because sex work is regulated on a state and territory level,
mm,
and some states and territories, sex work is still criminalised.
mm,
In others, it's still licensed. And in fact, it's only in 2 states where sex work is decriminalised. So it is really important that we do have decriminalisation, and we have active campaigns for decriminalisation in every state and territory. And
mhm,
Scarlet Alliance and our member orgs are really actively campaigning to have the laws changed. And there's kind of reviews in place at the moment, like for example in Victoria, where there's still laws that criminalise people, you know, sex workers living with HIV, regardless of whether, you know, you have an undetectable viral load,
mm.
regardless, you know, of the actually advances in ARTs, and it's kind of really quite a retrogressive legislation that needs to be overturned.
Mm,
And unfortunately, that's still in place in Queensland as well. We did see the overturning of that legislation that prohibits you from being or seeing a sex worker in the ACT if you are a person living with HIV, regardless of whether you use protection or not. And that was fortunately overturned just not last year, but the year before. And we hope that Queensland and Victoria will soon follow. The other campaign that we have at the moment, well, at the moment it's something that we've been working on for
mhm,
years, but hopefully gets more traction, is anti-discrimination protections.
mm,
Unfortunately, sex workers don't have consistent anti-discrimination protections. We don't, even though sex work is mostly decriminalised in New South Wales, we don't have anti-discrimination protections for sex workers in New South Wales. We have them in some states like Queensland and Victoria for lawful sexual activity, but then we have a really unworkable licensing framework. So if you're not working in the legal sector, then you don't get protections against discrimination or vilification. So we need those consistent protections, because we know that sex workers are a community that are subject to unacceptable levels of stigma and discrimination in just about every facet of our lives.
It's crazy. And just out of interest, how many members, are you a member-based organization? How does Scarlet Alliance work, just to educate the broader community in terms of what you guys do, how you operate, and if they wanted to become members, how do you guys operate?
Sure. So Scarlet Alliance, we've been operating since 1989, and initially when we started off, similar to other national peak bodies, we just had membership of organisations.
Mm-hmm.
So we have members, peer sex work organisational members in each state and territory around Australia, as well as a couple of national members such as Touching Base and Debbie Doesn't Do It For Free, which is a fabulous artist collective of sex workers.
Mm-hmm.
In 2014, there was a change, a constitutional change, so that we actually have individual members. So we have both we have both represent our membership of member organisations, collectives and networks around Australia, as well as individual sex workers around Australia. And at every level, Scarlet Alliance is peer. So everyone who works at Scarlet Alliance, who's part of our governance, even our volunteers are all sex workers, past or present.
Oh, fantastic. That's phenomenal. If we want to get a hold of you, do we channel everyone through to your email or to your website, or what would the best contact details be?
Yeah, absolutely. We'd encourage anyone who would like to, is a sex worker and would like to be involved or become a member of Scarlet Alliance, to go onto our website at scarletalliance.org.au. It's just one T. And also, if you want to contact us, you can email us at info@scarletalliance.org.au.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time, Jules. It's always great to catch up with you. And as I say, we're looking forward to Mardi Gras 2021, and I'm sure we'll see a Scarlet Alliance float going up Oxford Street yet again.
Absolutely.
And it's always important for us to maintain a great relationship, because we're here for community. And if you guys need any help or any support, please always reach out to us. We're here to assist you guys any ways we can.
Oh, thank you so much. We'll be there soliciting for solidarity again in 2021.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time, Jules, and have a really, really good day.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.